Hey folks, welcome to Market Technical Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leader in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today is Wednesday, May 28th, 2008. Well, today we saw a little bit again of the bounce in the markets overall, and again, that was somewhat expected. Those of you that watched yesterday's video know that we had called for yesterday's bounce in the markets from the previous video, and noted also that in yesterday's video we lowered our chances of a bounce, but it was still greater than 50%. And sure enough, it almost to a T, the markets were slightly up, not as high as yesterday's market, but again had a small little bounce in them, which again was what we expected, what InTheMoneyStocks.com had called for. Now the Dow was up about 46 points, the Nasdaq was up about 5.5, and the S&P was also up about 5.5 points. So here we are, folks. Let's set the scene, because this is where it all comes down to. What happens tomorrow, what happens on Friday, what happens next week, and what happens next month. That's what we want to know. That's what we're going to try and figure out in this video. So as we get started, let's take a look at the intraday chart on the ES. And again, the ES we use to follow the overall market activity intraday because it gives us the best candle patterns formation and best examples of a formation of various technical patterns. And you can see that the market was choppy. It was a choppy market, but relatively in a tight range. Even from tops here, again, note the double top, and I'll point that out in a second, but you had from basically 1390-ish right around here, all the way down to a low of 78. So it's a nice move, but it's not a humongous move from top to bottom. Now let's take a look here. You saw the markets really opening up here right around 8:30. You had durable goods orders, which gave the market a little bit of a spike, but sell the news. You had the spike up and then a sell, 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 and again, the markets continued to trail off. Now, what was this causing? What would we attribute this possible sell-off in the markets over the course of most of the day to? Well, we had talked a little bit about oil, the oil trade. The oil trade has been a key. It continues to be a key in this market. When oil rises, the market sells. When oil falls, the market rises. Yesterday, you saw the oil drop about $3+, almost $4. In turn with that, the markets bounced solidly. Now, in the morning, right around this time period, you see oil down as much as $1 and change. In fact, it was as close as $2 lower on the day for a good part of the morning. But right away here in the mornings, the oil starts to rally. Rally, 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 market starts to drop. You get the market down in this range here, right on this key support line, which is the 200 intraday moving average. Look at the support line this becomes. The market bounces off it here, retraces back up, pierces it, then you get a positive engulfing candle, which is a buy signal again, pushing it right back above that 200 intraday moving average, and you get another little buy program to the 50 moving average here, and then again, another sell-off, which comes right down to that 200 intraday, and again, a buy signal from nice bottoming tail right there, and a rally the rest of the day. Now, interestingly enough, and this is something we had pointed to in options expiration, it really seems like the market loses steam when oil rallies until 2:30 when the oil contract, the futures close on the oil contract. Then, as soon as that closes, you start to see a little bit of a rally in the markets, whether the oil closes high or low on the day. Doesn't seem to matter. And that's exactly what you see right here. Here's the 2:30 time frame. We're really near the lows of the day at this point. And then as soon as oil closes, buy, 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 rally to the top, basically the high of the day, or a double top. Note the double top. That's a sell signal, by the way. As a scalp trader, that's what you're looking for. You see the double top, the pierce of the double top right up here, or the double top. That's a short for a scalp. You get that little bit of an inch down here, and here's where we move into the close, really near the highs of the day for all intensive purposes. All right, so looking at the overall market, it was a day of oil, as oil closed up about $2 back above 131 today, or right around that 131 area, although it is off the highs of 135 from last week. So we're going to have to continue to monitor this oil trade. It's a big deal out there. The market is very skittish over this oil, but nonetheless, the charts tell the truth. It really, even though the intraday movements in the market are affected by oil, the charts tell you we're going to bounce. As you see today, for a second straight day, you got a little bit of a bounce. We had no clue that oil was going to be up or down today, but the charts tell us what's going to happen. So in tune with that, I really want to encourage everyone to come join the webinar, which is June 7th, a week from Saturday, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to go into all this charting, all this analysis. It's available on the website. Go to inthemoneystocks.com, click on the webinar page, sign up for the apprentice webinar. We teach you a lot of this time, pattern, and price action, including volume and various stochastics, MACD. You want to learn that stuff, this is where you come to learn it. We'll divulge a couple of our time secrets as well in that webinar. So I do encourage, go sign up for that before it's too late. In any case, that's how we knew the market was probably going to bounce today. Now let's look ahead to tomorrow. What are the odds stated for tomorrow? Number one, let's first go to the SPY on the daily so we can kind of gauge the daily move in the markets. Alright, clicking over, and there we go. Now, number one, first off, we want to note the M pattern here with the top here, double top with the tail, piercing the 200. Now we've come down and we bounced off, we called for the bounce off this 50 moving average, and what are we forming? You're forming a classic MA pattern in this market. Now, volume again was relatively light today, but we can push that aside for now. What you really want to focus in on is where is this MA pattern going? Notice how we're coming right up underneath this 20 moving average. At the high of the day today on the SPY, we were just about there. In our estimation, you're basically getting to the point tomorrow for a 50-50 market. All right, yesterday we had the day before. All right, let's look at Monday. What did we expect Friday to Monday? We basically called for a 75 to 80% chance of a bounce on Monday. You got the bounce. Yesterday we lowered that to 55-ish% of a bounce, which basically means a flattish market to a slight bit positive favoring. What was the market up today? Basically flat to slightly positive. All indexes did close positive, but they were fractionally up. All right, now we're looking at a basic 50-50, if that. All right. So you're basically looking at a possibility for a flat market again. You may tick higher just to touch that 20 moving average. We're going to have to see. We get GDP tomorrow, so it's going to be probably a little volatile. Also, oil inventories at 10:30 going to be key. So it could be a little volatile intraday. Overall, it's really, is it an up market or a down market? It's getting to the point where it's a 50-50. You've had 2 days of bounces now off of the hard sell-off from this point. That's basically all you can know. Now, we haven't gotten a sell signal yet. We're looking for a possible Friday or Monday sell signal, but it doesn't mean it can't start tomorrow. We'll have to analyze it again on the intraday basis in the chat room tomorrow and see where we go. All right, we could have another up day tomorrow. That's a 50-50, as we say. So a 50 chance of an up day, 50 chance of a down day. It's really a neutral position at this point after we have gotten a 2-day little bounce out of this market. Now, again, we'll note the 5 to 20 moving average as being resistance here, so you could touch that. And again, with the volatility of the news coming out tomorrow, the GDP numbers and the oil inventories, you know it's going to be a wild trading day. So it should be fun, and I do encourage everyone to come join the intraday stock chat to trade alongside us or at least learn. And that's the best thing about the chat room. It's such a learning environment. We talk about swing trades, day trades, technicals, time, pattern, price, you name it. Probably the best learning environment for only $199.95. A month, for the whole month. Even if you could only be in there for an hour, it's probably the best you can get anywhere ever. Alright, so in any case, keep a close eye on that as we move up into this pattern. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ too, and I want to touch base on a couple other things. So note again the MA pattern formation. The MA pattern states that you move up here on this bounce like we had, and then at some point you're going to get another flush to complete the A pattern, which takes us lower. Alright, and that's what we're going to really watch. Now I'm just going to draw a couple lines in here, and I want to just note that. Notice the trend line where we bounced again, right on the 50, but if you draw the points from this point to this point over to here, it comes right at the bottom there. So this is good support. When we come down and break this line now, that's going to be the next the completion of the MA pattern, or the A side of the A pattern here as we flush down. Where we go there, that's up in the air. Just looking at this chart, as I mentioned yesterday, we're looking at support right at this gap window here. Should we close that gap, this will be more support right there at the closing of the gap, and right around this area will be very good support. We may go lower, we may not. We'll analyze it as we fall. Alright, but as of now, let's still continue to focus on the possible bounce in the markets, the bounce that we had today, yesterday, and the 50-50 chance of another up day or a possible down day coming, the neutral position that we're favoring now in the markets. Alright, just to touch base on a couple technology stocks as we flip over to the NASDAQ. Google, Baidu, and Apple and Research in Motion all had nice days, and they all were due for the bounce. And I want to show you the Baidu chart after we look at the NASDAQ. So again, NASDAQ, same general pattern, but the NASDAQ's been stronger. So you really don't have an MA pattern, but what we did point out yesterday is a possible head and shoulders, and this is continuing to form. Notice here. Now what we want to see here is a flattening out here of this shoulder, maybe a move up as high as this point on the NASDAQ. So keep a close eye on that. You may move up to this point on the NASDAQ, and then what you want to see is you want to see it roll over and complete the right side of the head and shoulder pattern on the NASDAQ. And then again, you're looking for basically a break of the neckline, or right around this point here, and then it flushes probably down in this area should that come to fruition. And again, that's up in the air. It hasn't formed yet, so we don't know if it will form, but we continue to follow it every day and just note these different pattern formations in the market. All right, Baidu, just touching on the Baidu daily. Remember, we talked about the M pattern in Baidu and how it was due for a bounce. Sure enough, you're getting the A pattern formation. It may move up as high as this 20 moving average, and then watch for that completion of the A pattern as low as somewhere in this area, probably. A lot of support right in this area on Baidu, and we'll analyze it should that come to fruition as well. Alright folks, that's really all I have for today. Keep in mind we have a neutral stance going into tomorrow after 2 days of InTheMoneyStocks.com's correct call for the bounce. We'll relook at the market tomorrow and see if it's setting up for that next move down, possibly Friday or Monday. We'll continue to note that as well. Have a wonderful day, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.